Yes, hello. Good morning. Good morning, Dale.
Good morning, sir.
All right. Good morning, Vicky. Good morning, Vicky. Good morning, Vicky. All right. As we wait for other people to come, I think we can make use of time to look at individual challenges. Vicky, are you there? So, David, what have you managed to do? Yes, Dale. Dale, what have you managed to do?
I'm going to write it in the chat, sir.
Yeah. I said as we wait for other people to come, we can look at the people that have come in early. Did you manage to install Anaconda?
Yes, I did. I tried to do, I think, one quiz.
You tried to do
One quiz, yes,
one?
one quiz.
One quiz, okay?
Yes, sir.
I didn't see you among those ones that did the quiz. When did you attempt?
Today morning.
Yes, and at what time?
Today morning.
Oh, today morning. Okay.
Yes, sir.
What about practicing using Anaconda?
I did practice a few things. Variables.
Okay. You practiced variables.
I practiced variables. The only challenge I got was, I
So
think,
were
in
you still
establishing
able
layers.
to run the scripts that I shared?
I did. I did some, I think.
It is very good.
Yes, sir.
Hey, Vicky, are you there? Victoria, are you there? Since the class is being recorded, yes, since the class is, Esther, this is noted. So good morning, everyone. So in case you have challenges, you can post them in the chat. And I'm hopeful that we have all tried to practice and we're on the same page as far as today is concerned. And in case you cannot hear me, still you can make use of the chat. So for people who have tried the quiz, let me first go through. For people who have tried the quiz, when you make the first attempt, reset the first attempt so that the system enables you to do other quizzes. I think this is the challenge that people have been facing. Let me try to demonstrate it. So if you made your first attempt, you can go to My Quizzes and reset. The first attempt, always reset it. And once you reset it, you click on Reset. Reset means it is going to be a list. And once you do that, then the system will allow you to make more attempts. I think that is clear because I understand people have been making the first attempt, and after making the first attempt, you cannot make other attempts. But what you do, you reset the first attempt, then the system will allow you to make as more attempts as you can. Okay, I think that is well noted. Yes, Vicky, you have a question? Yes, Vicky, I'm seeing your hand up. Enable yourself and speak. All right, so last time we had an introductory part, and among the things that we looked at, so we are able to look at how to use Anaconda, and we said that Anaconda is a tool that brings almost everything together. It's more like your delicious food that you go and order in a restaurant. Instead of you ordering small portions, each and every item, like you ask for salt, you ask for juice, you ask for the other, you can just make one name of your order. So in this case, we use Anaconda. Why? It comes with Python already installed. It comes with other IDEs already installed. It comes with some packages of Python together with other languages like R already installed. So we are also able to go through the objectives, the workshop as being shared on the screen. So still we are able to understand how we are going to be conducting these classes, and we agreed on we shall do it online and physical classes. And we said we shall continuously record these videos and so that we can upload them on the e-learning platform. For those ones that would have come in late and those ones that would have missed class, to follow the recordings, I still encourage you colleagues to always use the open source materials. After using what we have given you in class, make use of the open source materials. And I said some classes after this introductory part, they are going to be research presentations. We shall invite experts from different angles to come and present to us. I gave a link, which we are seeing on the screen. I gave 2 links. The first one was www.w3schools.com/Python as one of the important online resources that you can make use of. And of course, this www.ejotelug.com, which is going to be our e-learning platform. So attempt to do quiz, reason being, it's the only way through which we can understand your progress. It's the only way of tracking your progress, whether you're following the classes and also attendance. And when you log into your account, you are going to see some form of a bar that really moves wherever you attempt the quizzes. And ideally, it is important for you, for the bar to move, you need to do more than 1 quiz. So you have to do a maximum of 3 quizzes for the bar to significantly move. If you do only 1 attempt, then it's going to move slightly by around 10%. When you make the second attempt, it is going to move to around some percentage. And wherever I add a new class, your bar has to go down because I've added a new task for you to attempt. Still, we said that Anaconda, we are going to use it alongside Jupyter Notebook. So we introduced the syntax, the comments, the variables, the data type, the numbers, the casting, the strings, the Boolean, the operators. And we stopped at the data types. We went to numbers, then we had the strings, we had the Boolean, and we stopped on lists when we are going to begin operators. A minute. So, all right, and we said that Python is a language, is a high-level language. Why is it high-level? It's more of, it can be interpreted, and it is more of human-readable format, and that makes it very simple to read and understand. And we said it is procedural. When you write code and you have a sequence of steps or procedures, like a recipe, like you have 1 step, the second step, that is procedural. It's object-oriented. That means it can make use of, we can make, it makes use of reuse of the codes by creating classes, and then out of the classes, we create objects. And out of those objects, we can replicate and create other objects. So in our tutorials, we shall be understanding how do we write procedural codes and how do we write object-oriented codes. And then it is functional, such that it emphasizes using functions, avoids changing data. So it's immutable. So I went ahead to look at why Python language. We said we have it because of the advantages they are in, because it is powerful, it is widely used. Then we proceeded to alternative languages to Python. And then we looked at the concept of abstraction, and we said abstraction, the concept of abstraction, it's all about what complexity is hidden from the user. And we said it all begins from the machine code, which is equivalent to the machine, the assembly. All this complexity is hidden from the user. And our language, which is Python, is at level 3. So all this complex that would have interfaced with at assembly, at machine code, is hidden from us. That means we are dealing with a language that is very easy to understand. So we looked at syntax, and we said that syntax are the rules and the structure that defines how programs must be written, okay, so that the computer can understand them. And we said this is more like an English language. When you are learning a language, Uganda, English, it has the rules. And once you don't follow those rules, then you're not going to make good sentences. And we said the sentences that you make, those we call them instructions within programming, okay? And what governs those instructions is what we call the syntax. And we said in our study, we are going to be looking at how do we respect these rules? How do we respect the rules, the syntax, so that when we write our programs, we don't run into errors. So we went ahead to look at, to write some code. We learned how to declare variables. And we said Python is very easy. In order to declare a variable, you just write the name of the variable. The way I have it here, you can say temperature equals to 28.5. So I've declared a variable called temperature, and I have assigned it data, which is 28.5. And that one we say, since it has a decimal place, then it is a float. And when we say city equals to Kampala, and then I put it in double quotations, it means that I've declared a variable called city. And once I put it in quotations, then it is a string. Then there is what we call a Boolean, and rain equals to true. Once I declare a variable and say rain equals to true, then Python will automatically detect it that it takes up the data type of the Boolean type. So I went ahead to look at other data types, and among them, I introduced the concept of data structures. And we say data structures are the foundations of us writing very clean code, and also the foundation for storing data within your program. And among the data structures that we looked at something called a list, and we said the list is ordered, mutable, meaning ordered means it takes a particular order. So if the first item can be stored in a small box called 1, it has to be indexed 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then we said it is mutable. Mutable means you can change values at any point that you want. We also introduced the concept of tuple, and the tuple is also ordered, but it is immutable. So the list is mutable, and the list is immutable means once you store your data within a tuple, then there is no way that you are going to change it. We also looked at the concept of sets, and we said sets for them, they are the opposite of the lists. They are the opposite of the tuple. Why? A set is an ordered collection of unique items. And you can have lists, you can have items within the list, they are unordered. That means they don't take any particular order when they are being stored. But the funny thing also is they are not immutable. So you cannot just wake up and change them. So today we are going to introduce a new concept, which is a dictionary. And actually, I talked about it the other time, and we said with a dictionary, which is number 4, it has some bit of index in it that you can index the data. That once we declare if you want to store names, then I can have the index name, then I assign it the name Alice. Then I can have the index age, then I assign it 25. So with a dictionary, the data has what we call the key value, which is the value that points to it, and the value that being contained within that key value. We shall practice practically and learn how to use these different data types. So for today, of course, still we are recapping. We went ahead to look at lists. In practical, we declared the list as rainfall, and then you were able to print this list as a whole. And I left this exercise for you people to practice. So I can pose a question. Do you have people that practiced this in your Jupyter notebook? Did you face any challenges? Did you try to practice this in your Jupyter notebooks? Colleagues, did anybody try to practice this? Creating the two lists, the first one rainfall, the second one temperature, and then you are able to calculate the sum equals to. So in this case, when I say AVG stroke rain equals, so AVG is a variable name, okay? And sum is a reserved name within Python that commands Python, that commands the language to go into list, picks the item, 12, 15, 10, 8, 20, and sum them together. Okay, so sum is a reserved word within Python that means addition. And then we looked at this concept. Len is also the reserved word that is going to return the number of items within the list. So when we talk about AVG stroke temp equals to sum, so sum we said is a reserved word, then it is going to go add the variables within the elements within the list temperature and returns the total sum of them. And then len, it gets the number of items within that list. Print is a reserved word within Python. So for the reserved words, as you can see, print, print, print. Python is case sensitive. So print with small p is different from print with capital P. So I cannot come here and type sum, and you can test it in your Jupyter notebook. It will generate an error because Python is case sensitive. So sum of capital is different from sum of small. So here to display these average values, so the interpretation of this is print, and when I put this first F, then I put quotations, that whatever that is being put in quotations, it is going to be printed, okay? But this F will command Python to look into the values, okay? To look into the text within the quotations and fetch this value. In this case, I have average rainfall, full quotation. Then I'm able to get this average rainfall that is being calculated from average sum. So is this statement where we have print. So the F commands Python to look into this text and then gets this variable called avg stroke t, and then it fetches, it gets the value that is being stored within that variable. And the one F, it means it is going to return a decimal place. Are we together? So I would ask if there is any question before I proceed. Is there any question? So if no question, let's proceed. So we have our sample code here. I introduced the concept of indentation the other side, and I said indentation means the distance from the left margin of the page or the right margin of the page. But in programming, we consider so much the distance from the left margin. So when we look at this, and Python is very index sensitive. Index sensitive means, let's compare these two codes. So if we set temperature if temperature is greater than 30, print hot day. Okay, else print cold day. Let's try this in Jupyter Notebook and we get to understand it. So hopefully we are able to see the Jupyter Notebook. So we are saying Python is so we are saying if, so I'm going to have my variable called temperature. And this temperature is going to be equal to 30.4. So I'm saying if this variable temperature is greater than 30, so that's how we close. We put those full columns, then we press enter. And when we press enter, you can see the arrow where it has moved. So where it has moved is where I should start typing from. I can say print today is a hotter day. So as we can see, Python has moved the first step. And it is telling me that if I want to move to do anything that is following the last statement, then I should type it here. But I know my last statement is following the if statement. That means I'm going to go two steps behind, 1, 2, and I reach F. Else then I can print So that's our code. So we have temperature equals to this. If temperature equals to this, print this. So the most important issue here is the position of the else. So you have to understand how your code is moving. So the else is here, reason being it is following the outcome of the first if. So if I move this f, this side, let me copy and paste it in another cell, and you get to understand the difference. So if I move this else there, and we run, it is going to generate a syntax error. Reason being, we are not following the rules of Python being indent sensitive. Let me hope that concept is clear. So let me try to write another code. In this case, so in this case, if temperature is greater than 30, and I want to extend it this way, then I would be using, if this else is here, then I'm using what we call the if-else statement. The if-else statement now is going to proceed with, maybe if I have a condition, I have something that I'm asking on the next line. But if I don't, then this is supposed to be at the end. So do you have any question? So during your practice, you can. So for comments, I'm going to add in comments. So while using Jupyter Notebook here, let's take note of this arrow here. I can either activate it as a code. At the same time, I can make it a markdown. Markdown means when this is going to execute, it is going to execute as it is going to execute. It will not run actively as a code. So I'm saying here, practice, I'm going to share this using the if-else statement. Any questions on that? Do we have any question before I proceed on a new concept? So this is what we tried to do here. That if true, if we put it here, then it is indent positive, then this one will work out. But once we put it here, it will not work out. So there is also what we call the for loop. The for loop is an iteration, okay? And in order for us to use the for loop, we are going to learn how to use this word in. I think it is in one of the operators that we ought to use. It's within it is among the member operators. We have the in, which is here. So it is going to check, the word in is going to check whether an item that we are checking exists within the list of variables, the dictionary of variables, the set of variables, of which we are checking. And that is how we can use the for loop. So we had declared a list somewhere. Let's go back to the Jupyter notebook. Were you able to see the slides, people? Were you able to see the slides? So we are practicing the for loop and we are using the member operator in, okay? And if we have our list of rainfall equals 12, 13, 34, 56, 6, 7, 7, 8. Okay, you can have it, okay, 12, 23, 23.5, 16.5, 23.8. That's our list. There is something that I forgot to talk about, that in case you want to print particular variables within the list, for example, if I want to reference the first one, I can just come and say 1. Then it's able to get that element. So if I want an element 2, that's how I can get it. And we said once I want the length, that my list, and that's how I can get it. So I'm going to use the for loop and the member element to check whether an element exists within my list. So we begin, we are going to say for A, let me get you the slides. Me and share and get you the slides. So this is where we are. So you want to test whether an element exists within that list. Okay? People, any questions? Any questions, people? So we have our list. So we are going to say for a value in rainfall, print value. That means now the for loop is going to go and check and collects all of my values. It is going to gets this value, initiate it to every element within the list, checks if that value exists in the list, then it is going to print that value. So we are able to get 12, 23, 23.5, 16.5, 23.8 printed on the screen. Are we together? Do you have any question on that, or we can proceed? So we shall be looking at sample codes. I've organized some script that we are going to go through, but practically that's how we can use the for loop. We are going to look at practical scenarios. So another important aspect in programming are functions. So functions are another way of writing code. What I've been doing here, the codes that we have been writing, for example, this is functional. It's procedural. It follows one step at a time. You make the first step, you write the second step, you write the third step. But this one comes with challenges. For example, if I want to reuse the code that I've written in cell 5, there is no way I can replicate it and use it in another cell. So the best way that we can do it is by using functions, okay? And in order for us to write functions, we begin with the keyword def, the name of the function. You open and close brackets, but within the brackets, you put the variables. You put the variables that this function is going to take, okay? And then you can start to write your statements the way I have been doing it. For example, here we have if temperature is greater than 30, do what you can do. In this case, we are not going to print within the function. We are going to use the word return, okay? Else return this. And then our function ends. So in case we want now to check whether particular values, if we want to test particular values, we shall just call the name of the function, and after calling the name of the function, we pass over the value to it. And then the function is going to return the outcome back to this function, and our function is called forecast message, and then it is going to print it out. Are we together? Let's practically see it in Jupyter Notebook. So we said we begin with the keyword df, and what follows is the function name. So after this, I'm going to give functions, then I select one of you, explain to us what that function is doing as a way of learning. I want to do it a bit first. So the The function name is called forecast message. And next are variables, which is temp. And we close it with those, is it full columns? Then we press enter. So when you press enter, we said Python is what? Python is indent positive. It moves where it wants you to write the second, the first function, the first statement within your function. And in this case, we are testing if temp. So we are testing this variable. If temp, which is the variable inside, is greater than 30. So in this case, we are not going to print, we are going to return. What do you return? Hot weather expected. So, all right. So I'm going to write another function because this is very important for us. We shall be using it. So this function is not ready to run, it cannot run. It contains syntax errors. Who can suggest to us how we can correct the syntax errors? In this case, we are going to use the concept of indentation. We are going to use the concept of indentation actually to correct this function. Who can volunteer to help us? Who can volunteer? Colleagues, are you there? Who can volunteer to tell us how we can run out of the errors? Michael, William Maisho, can you labor to use what I've just explained to help us rule out the syntax error? Colleagues, are you there? Are we seeing the Jupyter Notebook screen? I think this is what, let me stop sharing, then I make sure that I'm sharing the right screen. Is that? So I'm saying the first one is running successfully because The first one is running successfully because we have followed well the syntax rules. Now, my question is, this code is running with errors. Reason, and the problem is indentation. The indentation, that is, we have not placed the code very well following the indentation syntax. So my question is, who can help us to correct it? Can I share it on WhatsApp? So I'm sharing it on WhatsApp. So who can help us to rule out the errors? To suggest, let's make this class interactive. That is the only way that we can learn together. Who can suggest?
Mr. Barikudenge,
Yes, sir. Yes, madam.
as if I see the first one with like line 19, for it you see when you're writing if, the word if and else down the same line, but when you reach line 20 for 21, that command in line 21, the else is behind.
Yes.
Can you try to put it on the same line with if?
Good. Okay. So it is supposed to be on the same line. And reason being, it is the else is getting it is being executed following the if. And once we put it where it was, then it is fetching its outcome from the function that we declared first, which is the diff forecast. Are we together? So true, I move it one step using the tab. Good. So do we have another syntax error? Let's try to run and see. Let's try to run it. Still, we are getting a syntax error. There is still one more error for us to correct. Who can rule out the error?
Return.
Pardon?
That return, push it back. Is it, but this return here, the first one, push it forward.
This?
The last one.
This one, okay. So I'm going to move it one step. Why? It is getting its outcome from else. Are we together, colleagues? So it moves, I save, and I learn. So we are able, it is able to run successfully. Are we together? So in case I want to change to test another value, now I want to test 21 instead of 30. Who can tell us what I should do? I want to test 21, whether it is going to be a hot weather or not. What should we do? Esther, what should we do?
Pardon the question?
I said, we have tested the forecast. We have tested temperature 30, that the day is going to be mild, but we want also to test 21, not 30, using our created function. What should we do?
We need to change the variable 30 to 21.
So we shall have this in another cell, okay? And we just change 30 to 21. Esther, can you explain to us what this line of code is doing. What is the code doing?
The code is still following the same command that we had in 25. But this time, because the condition is if temperature is greater than 30, return hot weather expected. Otherwise, return mild weather expected. So if we print the forecast message for variable 21, it is still less than 30. So that's why it is returning mild weather instead of hot weather.
Who can put
I
it
don't
better
know if
using the
that is.
computing? I want you to use the computing language. Using combine, bring in the word function. We are calling a function, passing it value to it, then printing it the value. I would like to hear such a conversation. We are calling this function, passing it a value this, printing this output. Who can have that conversation that way? Who? Who can put it better?
Can I try again?
Yes.
I think we are calling the function forecast message for temperature to print the forecast message for variable 21.
So the next one is for Victoria. Can you explain for us how this code works? What I've just put. Vicky? Vic, are you there? So I have the two codes. The first one is what you have just done, what I have in cell 30, but I have something here in cell 31, okay? And here I have a list of values. And my Q, this list of values, it can be some data set from the Excel sheet. It can be some data set from our weather bank. And then I'm able to check the data. So I declare my function called check rain. And then I'm making use of the for statement, the for loop that we studied up to check the value within the list. If it meets a certain criteria, if it meets a certain forecast criteria, then I have if value is greater than 0, okay, it is going to print it will rain, else it prints no rain. So who can repeat the same conversation? The way I've put it, who can repeat the same conversation? Vicky, are you there? Vicky? Okay, Michael. Michael, are you with us? The only way that we can learn these things is when we interact together. When you sit alone and practice, you are not going to pick. Okay, but when you come and share, even if you make a mistake. And my two colleagues, when we check code 35, it has the indentations that I've been talking about. The function def is a keyword that we use to tell, is a keyword that we use to tell Python that I want to write this as a function. The data is the data that you are passing to it. But you see, the for loop follows the def. That is why it takes one step from the left. But this if statement takes two steps, meaning it is getting its input from the for statement. And the print statement, it is moving 4 steps from the left, meaning it is getting its outcome from the if statement. Okay, so if we move, for example, if I move this print 1 step behind, okay, I may not get the kind of output that I want. So sometimes Python may also be confused. It may not give you the value that you want. So you may run the code when it continuously gets it continuously gives you different results. It will literally means you didn't follow the syntax well. That means the code is getting you totally a different outcome. Let me hope this is clear. So this code really explains the role of indentation. Okay, and I come and check rain, then it is going to go into the list. It checks your values, and after checking your values, each of your values, it is going to return the outcome. Are we together? Mr. Mike, I'm still with you. I want to ask you, what is your take about this function? Mr. Mike? Some people are not on. Keeps me wondering if you people are listening to me.
Doctor, we are on.
Okay, Mabel, tell us. What is your take about
Doctor,
this function? You are not following.
I'm following. I'm just trying to learn the logic.
Okay. So I want you to appreciate the concept of indentation. It is very important because you are going to be getting a script, you edit it, it is not doing what you want. Because of something very small, you don't know how it is flowing. Okay, that is why after me explaining, if somebody would labor to come and also add a word in your own way of understanding, maybe a colleague would pick from there. Who can volunteer?
Doctor.
Not Dr. Joseph. Yes,
Dr. Joseph. You talked of indexing. It's indexing or
indentation.
Indentation. And then the dictionary. Indentation.
Yes, we have not yet dealt with the dictionary. I've only dealt with the list. Dictionary is coming.
Hey, I thought all these things are in the dictionary because I can see 30, 32. I don't see 31.
No, I've not dealt with the dictionary. I've only dealt with one data structure, which is very important as far as dealing with time series data is concerned, which is the list.
Let me follow. Try to follow.
That is why I want to interact with you people so that we are on the same page. And what I'm emphasizing is the concept of indentation. Indentation is very important as we are writing functions because you need to understand at what, for example, this code, we have 3 functions in it the main function, which is def, the next function, which is for, the next function, which is if. That if I press this here, okay, here it means it is getting its outcome from for. And if I run, I may not get a syntax error, but it is getting an expected indet block. Okay? You get? Are we together? I just don't want to go through these things anyhow, as if I'm into an historic class. These are practical classes. I need to hear from you people, and I get to understand your perception, your perceive of things. And make sure that you interactively come in to give your views. Don't keep quiet, because these ones could be new concepts to some of us. But once you come and share, then we get to be on the same page. Are we together on this? Dr. Joan, is there anything that you can add on that can help members understand more? Okay, let me try to get another function.
Joseph, I have heard you. Where was it? There was some noise. So I
was
think
asking-
members, I think like if you've seen something and you do not understand, let us not wait to be called upon. You can just mention it now and then, because like coding, any step you miss, you've seen like it, you get an error. Whether if we put it in the place where it's not supposed to be, you automatically get an error. So please let us try to follow. Joseph, you're doing a very great job, and I think if everybody follows just the way it's supposed to be, I think we'll get there.
So let us try, when I ask questions, let us try to be attentive, first of all, because I'll be pointing at anybody. So because I know this is not an history class where afterwards you're going to read on your own and understand. Once you get lost in the forest, you can get lost forever. Because once you run the code, it's generating syntax errors, it will frustrate you and you get out of the class. So I said, here we have used, let me try to put in some comments here. And to comment our code, we use that symbol. We use that symbol. Here, using the list. And we said, I can also come and make this markdown, means it will contain text. Now this uses a dictionary. Neighbor was asking us, so now when I run this, it will accept to run the way it is. So this code is using a dictionary, and we say the dictionary is indexed. The data has keywords. As you can see with a list, we would just declare variables 12, 23, 23.5, 16.5, 23.5, just, okay? But when it gets to the dictionary, we are supposed to give it a key value, a key index, and then we assign it a value. And these are weekdays, okay? So I have the same function. So in this case, we have for day, comma, value in data dot items. So it's somehow different because within my dictionary, within my data structure, which is a dictionary, I have days and value. I'm interested in knowing the day and the value. The day, Monday, 12 is the value. Tuesday, 23 is the value. Wednesday, 23.5 is a value. Thursday, 16.5 is a value. Friday, 23.5 is a value. So I say for day, comma, value in, I'm using the word in, okay, which is a member operator. Data in items. In items is a function within Python. That is why I have it here. So if value, so I test my value, is greater than 0, I put F. We said if F means that within my string, there are values, there are variables that are going to be fetching values from somewhere. So it gets me the value, and from my dictionary, the day is a variable that stores days value, then it will rain, else print. Good. So Madam Mabel, this is a dictionary, and then I can run. So in this case, I have amplified my code, okay, using the dictionary by indexing it. And after indexing it, then I'm able to say on what particular day that it will rain or not. Okay, I've also been able to use a function. I've declared a function called check rain, passing it over functions from here. And when I say check rain, this inside here is the name of the function that I'm doing. Together, any question on that? Any question on that, people? Ask questions because it is not that obvious. I want someone to volunteer. Somebody is going to volunteer. I'm going to give another function, but the function is quite different. So this is my function. The function is quite different. And I want somebody to tell us if I want to know whether it is going to rain on Tuesday or not. How should we initiate this function? In this case, so in this case, I was here, it was taking data as a whole, but this function is taking a day, okay? And it is going to return what is going to happen on that particular day. Who can tell us how we can implement it? Karema Ben? Who can take us through? Who can take us through what this function is doing? Get rainfall day. Esther, can you try?
Sorry, I'm I'm still going through.
You didn't get me. I'm saying I have two functions. The first one, I have my dictionary that has weekdays, okay? And then I just pass it data, okay? Which data that is indexed. By indexing means it has the days and then it has the values that corresponds to that particular day. Then it is going to check rain. It is going to check data. So I pass it over data, okay? And then it is able to tell me, to comment for me. But the second function has a dictionary, yes, but it takes a day, okay? It checks within that day, okay? So day stroke title is going to fetch the values, okay? And then it is going to tell me on that particular day what is going to happen. So instead of me generating the whole, and my question is, how do I proceed from here? How do I initiate, implement this function, which is get a rainfall day? And who can guide us on how we can do it in the next cell? Who can guide us? And I was passing the ball to Karema Beno. Karema is not with us. Vicky? Seems I need to give more examples. So now if I want for Monday, I'm going to come and say, I get the name of my function, get rainfall. Then I pass it over that day. But since this day is a string, I'm going to put it in full quotations. I'm not good at the names of punctuation marks. So full quotations, and I run. Okay, I've not run this. That is why I'm not able to run it on the second. So I run it here. I also run it there. So I'm able to understand that the value for Monday is 12 mm and it will rain. So this is very interesting. If, for example, if we are calling this data somewhere where we don't see, okay? It is a full of very huge data sets. And the only statement that we are getting here on this data is what is going to happen. This one would help you very well. For example, when you are on your forecasting desk, you would understand what is happening in Gulu. You just pass it off at this data, then it tells you. In Gulu, the temperature is this, and most likely, this is what is going to happen. Are we together? Now I want for Friday. Who can tell us what we should do to have this code get data for Friday? Who can tell us?
We
Yes, Esther.
need to run the we need to run the cell 45, and then in cell 48 we replace we put Friday in the quotes to complete
Will
the
that
function.
work? Will that work?
And then run that.
Will that work? By show of hands, shall we run it successfully? Shall we get data for Friday? Mabel, shall we get work for Friday? Let me try to run it. Maybe we don't know. Yes, it has been able to get. That means sometimes Python, I know it has that it is case sensitive, but it seems it is not. What about that one? Will it run successfully?
No.
Why?
Because it will not be able to find that
When it makes an query Friday,
Friday double F.
it will not be so Friday. So it is going to tell us Friday is not in the data, which is the else. By the way, these are some of the things that we are going to face while practicing. That's good. I want to give another example. There you go. So we have rainfall and temperature data stored in a dictionary. Who can volunteer to take us through this function? Who can volunteer? Who can volunteer to take us through that function? Can I leave it to you for practicing? So believe me, I'm going to share this this whatever. So I have two functions. The first one, it gets the decile. The second one takes the rainfall and the temperature. Then it generates the weather. Okay? Because we are running out of time. Time is running so fast. So I think I'm going to share this code. This is what I prepared for class, but I've gone through it. These are basic examples. You have had better examples than this, but I'm going to share this. So let me go through this code, which is called this code. I remember I shared this script. You already have it. So this is a weather forecasting exercise solution. So in this case, the script, we have temperature as a list, okay? And then we have the membership check. So in this case, we are assuming you have a database of temperature values. And then you have this int input. This input is going to come from the user. And the only way that we can do it is using the input keyword. And then it is going to be an integer. That means if you put in a decimal place, it will not accept. So if the statement is going to check if the temperature that you have put is contained within the list. The temperature, this would be your database. Then it is going to return back to you that the value that you have put was recorded this week. Else, it is going to tell you whether that value is not within, it is not recorded, okay? So in this case, we are also trying to use the logical operators. Logical operators, those are the greater than, less than, or equal to. This we have interfaced with. So we are saying if any temperature is greater or equal to 30 for T in temperature, and these values that we are checking, if they are less than 22, and the value that we have is contained within the database, then it is going to print the week had both hot, the value, and cold, the values. Else, it is going to print this. So we are going to go through, I want you to go through this script, okay? We are going to test it with different values. For example, if I put in 25, if I put in 25, $12. So it is going to check it. Enter the temperature to check is 12. 12 degrees was not recorded this week. The week we had both total. So it somehow gives you a description. And don't just look at it, because we are going to look at examples where we are going to be connecting to huge data sets. Are we together? So this is an example that I want to read to practice during your free time, okay? And you get to understand how things are working. So this example, I implemented it using the functional approach, but I also have the fully improved Python solution. Then you have this solution that is implemented using the functions, okay? Here we are using functions. This is the first function, which is input temperature. The second function, which is check temperature. The third one, which counts what days. The fourth one, which counts the cold days. The third function, which calculates the average temperature. The third function, which updates temperature. Okay, it updates the temperature by taking in that the temperature, the day, and the new temperature. And then it returns for you the temperature, the updated temperature back to you. And then the last one is a function that is going to print the extremes. So we have a number of functions. So as you practice, let's just look at one. Okay, just copy one in a particular cell, practice it, check, proceed, proceed, until when you ultimately run the whole script. Don't just begin by you running and trying to interpret the whole code. You will get confused. You will get lost in the forest. So in this case, now we get the output that entered temperature for 7 days. It is this. Okay, weekly temperature that. So we have this weather report. Are we together? Any questions before we proceed? I understand you have a lot of question marks among yourselves. You can raise them now. Mabel, do you have any questions? Are you with us? So you have had functions. Yeah. Any questions, people?
Joseph.
Yes.
About that code the script you've given for practice. If we are going to do it bit by bit, that means do we have to first copy?
You can have,
the
for
data?
example, you can have this as what I've sent you. You open another Jupyter notebook, copy from here, and you paste into your code.
Yes.
You get it? So in
Yes,
each cell,
my question is,
mm,
for I copy function by function into a separate cell
yes,
and try to
yes.
run that.
And you try
So
to run
the
it.
other question is, the other question is, before I copy those separate functions to run them in separately, do I have to first copy the data set? Sorry.
Of course,
I don't
yes,
know
you
if you
should have a
can scroll
list.
there.
Yeah, you should have a list is your data set now. Numbers. In this aspect, you should have it in the cell where you are. Okay?
Okay.
Yeah, you should have it.
Okay.
The idea of practicing, keep what I've given you, try to replicate it as you practice on your own. Okay? Understand what I've done. After understanding it, you can add in your flavors. Flavors means you can improve it the way you want. In this case, we say you know how to play around with the code. Are we together? And actually begin by copying and pasting and testing the functions. Because once you just look at all of them at once, then like here I have like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I have 7 functions. Once you read it at once, you will not understand it. It will confuse you. But when you begin by using the first one, which is enter, for example, if I want to use this, I'm going to copy it, going to go and get a new cell. So I'm going to copy it. So this is a function called input temperatures. It takes nothing, okay? But it returns to the user the value. It returns to the user this statement, enter temperature for 7 days. Then it returns whether the value is valid or not. So I'm going to run this. Then I'm going to call this function. Because this function takes nothing, then I'm going to run it. Yeah, that way. Then I'm going to put the value, hello. Enter day 2, 45, 31. You see? So you get to understand how things work. Are we together, Esther? Then
Yes, please, yes.
Then I can proceed to, I can proceed to, after understanding how this function works, I can proceed to get another function. To provide you more explanation on this function within itself, it creates the list temps. So we declare a list called temps that is empty. And here at temps.append, that is when wherever we add in a value, this value gets appended to the list using the append keyword. You see, some of these things you just have to understand. Like the English language, I learned that is called the cup, that is called the ball, that is called the book. So in order for us to append a value to a list, we use temp append. So after me getting the input from the user, okay, and making it a float, then it is going to be appended to my list. And once it is appended, then I can access it wherever I want. And this temp is only created when this function is called. So without me calling this function, there is no way this temp will be populated. So in the previous examples, we have been using a list that is already created, but in this case, this one can be a list to be created. That is why we are declaring it as an empty list. Temperature values. Are we together? Yes, Annette. Oh, Annette, we are saying everything is well, eh? Okay. So any other question? I just don't want to cover any other new concept. I just want to hear from you people, answer your questions, telling me where to improve. If you need more exercises, a few people are doing the quizzes. I said, if you want to do more quizzes, then when you attempt the first one, reset it. Click the reset button. It is going to be a list. Then, but the system is going to open for you to try as more quizzes as you can. And for you to have a good progress, you must have a minimum of 3. The system gives you a maximum of 3 quizzes to attempt. So you must have the 3 quizzes recorded. And wherever we put a new class, like I'm going to put this for today, it will come along with some quizzes to attempt about today's class. Yeah, try to also do it so that your progress is recorded. So do you have any questions? I want to end this. We have finished what I prepared to present to you people today. Unless you have questions to ask, then I can let people go and do the other routine work. So let me confirm that I've been recording. Yeah, we have at least today recorded the whole class. The whole class is recorded. So no questions? Vic, you have not said anything, and I've not got any indication that you have been following. Vicky, I've not got anything that would tell me that you have been following. So if you don't have any other question, I'm going to share this script. This script I shared, you already have it. The one that has lesson 1. So for people who don't know how to upload it, just open your Anaconda, go to Jupyter Notebook, just come and click on upload. Upload it, get it from wherever that you would have saved it. If you downloaded it, then it should be in your downloads. Then you are set to go. Then for this that we have used for practicing, let me export it now. So I have it. And I'm sharing it on WhatsApp. So I've shared today's script that we have used on WhatsApp. If you don't have anything to ask, we meet on Monday. Have a good day.
Thanks, Joseph.
Thank you. Thank you.
All right.